masculines. This is a reading for October, November, December for Virgo divine masculines. As you can see, I've already shuffled and laid out the cards, so we're going to go right into it. The overall energy at the bottom of the deck, you have the Nine of Discs. So the overall theme of this reading is really talking about you reaching a point of self-mastery, being on the path of mastering specifically the challenges on the path of the nines, or at least nearly completing and the end being in sight, and this very much being the path that you're on at the moment. It's a form of alchemy of the soul, where all aspects of yourself are in perfect balance. All elements have been brought together. There's a sort of transmutation of energies, transformation, which brings you to this place of completion in the material world, in fulfilling the realization of yourself to your full potential. Really powerful overall energy that the masculine Virgo is going through right now. So underneath that, we have the Nine of Cups. Sorry, the light's a bit strange shining here. So Nine of Cups, wishes fulfilled in the traditional deck. And it's in this deck talking also very much about uncovering masks, pulling back the curtain to a deeper truth, both in oneself but also with regards to realizations in the sense of a broader perspective of life and one's spiritual self. And then we also have the Three of Swords. So yes, there's definitely some sort of healing that needs to take place in order for this cycle to complete, to reach this state of integration and wholeness. There is this wound that the Virgo masculine is still carrying, and beautifully in this card represented by the dove. So there's this peace, this message of love and peace and healing that is ready for completion, that needs to take place. And it is really bringing about needing to face whatever it is that has not been healed in oneself, and understanding the gifts within those experiences, and how they're an equal aspect of you, and yeah, the integration and balance achieved from bringing them to light, and healing or integrating them. And then under that we have the Lovers. Perfect. Just total message again of reconciled halves, reconciling, bringing together two separate aspects of oneself, the sort of integration of opposites, male and female. It can, of course, obviously indicate a relationship, twin flame, soulmate, deep bond that is ready to come into union. There is also very much a sense of the, I don't know how you pronounce it, is it Caudasius? There's this Kundalini rising energy that's going through his body. This, in this specific deck, it represents Baphomet. So yeah, that strong message here of twins merging, of a union of sorts. You've got this winged being of light that's emerging from his head. So there's a real sense of some type of realization, enlightenment, completion, self-realization that's very connected to balancing the male and female aspects of oneself. And there's very much a sexual creative energy that is a part of that, in the sense of that Kundalini energy that's rising and creating this third energy from as a result of this union. So there's also a depiction of the devil within this picture. So there's this saying by Joseph Campbell: if you cross a threshold but you're not really ready, the gods will appear as devils. So this is very much pointing also towards the great power of a person when they're reaching this state of full potential, that can actually be quite scary. Either fearing the power that one has within oneself, or perhaps being fearful of the power of another. Perhaps that is the integration that needs to take place, the fearing perhaps of the feminine energy, and that's what's being shown here that is out of balance. So it's basically representing, temptations, things that are seen as perhaps bad things, and recognizing that it's all perspective, and perhaps the equal aspects that need to be integrated in oneself. So a very powerful overall energy here for this reading. One second. Apologies, I got interrupted there. So in the energy of letting what needs to be let go, we have the Six of Swords. So in the traditional deck, this is very much pointing towards perhaps that Three of Swords card, that healing that needs to take place, is being reflected here. So in this particular deck, it features the Archangel Raphael, the healer or physician of God, as he is known. And he's basically banishing darkness. This is very much about shadow work, facing the wounds that are unresolved within oneself. You can see he's guiding two children here, so this is pointing towards some inner child wound that is still being held by the Virgo masculine, that is ready to be healed and released and let go. I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers to see if there's anything specific this is relating to. So 9 of Cups, wishes fulfilled. So yes, I'm seeing that this is something that is actually blocking you from moving forward, from realizing this full abundance, this sense that everything is complete in your life. With regards to love and relationships, and feeling fulfilled emotionally as something that is equally important in your life that perhaps you haven't been putting energy into, and that's really pointing to what is out of balance. And yes, again, torment. So this is related to the Devil card in the traditional deck, so very much pointing towards the need to complete cycles of healing, looking at your shadow wounds to do with your childhood, something specific that needs to be let go, that it's time to complete and to release this and move away from this. There is potentially some emotional relationship in the past also that this could be pointing towards, that needs to be let go, but usually these are just relationships that are brought in to teach us a sort of older, deeper wound that hasn't been completed yet. So that's best tackled from going back to the root cause. So in the energy to receive, we have the Knight of Wands. Very powerful card. Sorry, the light is so bad. Very powerful card. So this really is showing that it's time to put these challenges behind you. Whatever these emotions and experiences, whatever these emotions are, they're based in experiences that are no longer present in your reality, and it really is time to let them go, to move forward and put energy and passion into a new path. And just learn those lessons and move forward. Take those lessons with you. They're an equal aspect of who you are and who you've become, and use them as part of your strength. And so this is really talking about the dark night of the soul, but one that's been overcome already. Sort of like a spiritual warrior that's broken through and received many insights from the learnings and the challenges, and now seeking that light, seeking that path of least resistance, moving forward in a way that serves you, knowing what you want, and really about stepping into your power. and energy, but also the responsibility that comes with that. And perhaps you've not necessarily had the maturity to hold that level of power, and it's now being asked of you, and it's time to step into that role, and mindfully and taking care in using that power and energy in a constructive way rather than a destructive way. So just to clarify, interesting, this is a special edition deck of the Rider-Waite. So it features this card that is limited edition. It's not in all the decks, but interesting. So 8, balance, the strength card. So energy to receive. So yeah, the strength card is really coming up in a lot of readings. It's not a coincidence. And again, this is the matriarch. So definitely a message here on healing the mother wound or the feminine energy being out of balance. And this is what needs to reach completion. So the strength card that's coming up in a lot of readings that I'm doing, personal readings for people, is really pointing towards this collective message that we've all been experiencing from the Lionsgate cycles that have, the cycle of eclipses that we've just broken through. And these are very much lessons about stepping into your truth, self-love, having the courage and strength to be who you really are and to step into that and the balance that you achieve from that. And that's really what the Knight of Wands is. And so I'm seeing that is the obstacle is to heal this wound, this energy that's out of balance. And in the traditional deck, the Knight of Wands is a very it's a very passionate card. It's about stepping forward and taking action towards someone specifically. It's about expressing your passion, your desires, your sexual energy. It's a very forward movement card, and it's about taking action. So really, once the Virgo male goes through this healing and faces his shadow and does this shadow work, I feel there's going to be this fresh new energy where he is able to move forward and step into his power in all aspects of his life and express himself passionately with balance and integrity and forward movement. This is a very fast moving energy, as is the Eight of Wands. So this is the energy yet to come. So this is very fast moving energy, the Eight of Wands. And beautifully in this deck, it's represented by this winged lion, and he's sleeping in this winged lion's open robes of the magician. It's really representing in this deck. So it's about the magician exposing his inner core. This is all about vulnerability. The lessons that the masculine needs to learn is that there's strength in vulnerability, and this is something that is being learned or is going to be learned. This is something of realization that is going to come to you in the near future. That up till now there's been some kind of wall or barrier that's been preventing you from expressing yourself in your truth in a true way to another, in specifically perhaps the sense of relationships or your love or emotions, and this is really pointing towards the courage that it takes to be vulnerable, and that there's a lot of strength in that, and that's a really beautiful message, clarified by the Six of Earth, which is the Six of Discs, and the Magician. There you go. This is you as this powerful creator, creating your own reality in any way that you wish, in any way that you envision it can unfold, and really this breakthrough, this balance. The Six of Discs is very much about an equal balance in giving and receiving, specifically in love and relationships that perhaps has not been in your experience, and that's something that unfolds as you go through this healing. So the Six of Wands in your general environment, that's traditionally the card of victory. moving forward successfully, you're basically going to break through whatever these wounds are that have been holding you back. You're going to break through them. I'm actually going to read this one from the book, which I don't normally do, but it's such a powerful one. Specifically for this reading, I think there's a message here that's important. I'm really feeling that there's a deeper message that's important. Interesting, because there's actually a poem. So this is from the MERAKI deck, this deck, one of my favorites, by Mary White. Very profound messages, so I'm going to read you her interpretation of this card. The possession of knowledge, unless accompanied by manifestation and expression in action, is like the hoarding of precious metals, a vain and foolish thing. Knowledge, like wealth, is intended for use. The law of use is universal, and he who violates it suffers by reason of his conflict with natural forces. Interesting. So yes, this does very much mirror this need to take action, to practice what you preach. This does remind me a lot of a video I listened to recently of Matt Kahn. Some of you may follow him. I absolutely love his videos. But he was referring specifically to fear and the lessons of that there are a lot of spiritual people that have done a lot of forward movement and growth on the spiritual side, but perhaps have left behind, they're still quite vulnerable and with a lot of wounds that haven't been healed yet, more on the emotional side. And so there's this sense of an imbalance that I'm really getting from this, and the need to put into action within oneself the lessons that one has learned and is teaching others. And I am really feeling that this, that you are at this place of mastery, very much a master of some deep spiritual wisdom that you're sharing with others. And there is this sense now to integrate those lessons equally within yourself and to step into that within yourself. And I'm seeing that, this is the victory card. There is success in that sense. So reading on from Mary White. So the Six of Wands is the Archangel Michael. His name means who is like God. He is a warrior that commands the armies of God. His fire and life force interact with things directly and with force, with vengeance and righteousness. His weapon here, the flaming spear, is like the lion from the previous card, the Five of Wands. Well, I don't think that one has come out. The Five of Wands. Burning a trail through the dark forest. Making a way forward. This dragon he destroys is darkness. He destroys it with direct force and illumination, by going straight through it like a penetrating army. He bears the sigil, I don't know how you pronounce that, symbol of Michael on his forehead, a symbol derived from tracing a name over the rosy cross. Each of the four archangels have this somewhere on their body. Names are very important to angels as they define who and what they are, limit them from the limitless, and define them. So the L aspect of their name describes them as of God, or an aspect, a portion of God, charged with certain duties that support the creation and maintenance of the universe. In this painting, Michael's wings resemble dark mountain peaks, and there are legions of angels flying in the sky. Michael comes down to earth, to the pits of hell, and slays demons and dragons. This card is to slay your dragons. The dragons are whatever opposes you or your situation. Spiritually, the dragons are darkness and ignorance within ourselves. We illuminate this darkness with fire. There is also a marriage of these seemingly opposite elements, the angel and the dragon or demon, a being from heaven and a being from hell. And both are part of you. One is your higher self or your genius, and one is your lower self or your subconscious. A marriage of heaven and hell, angelic and demonic. Your demons are a part of you. They protect you. They have purpose. You can remove them, kill them, suppress them, chain them, but that will be destroying a beautiful aspect of yourself. It is far better to cleave them, integrate them, appreciate them, and become a well-rounded, strong human being of dark and light, than a shallow facsimile with a cracking facade using all of your energy to hold back the tide of things that you deem unworthy to be you. It is all you. Embrace it and integrate it. Marry it. Love it. This is an important part of the lovers. This is the last step of creation, where male and female contrasting opposites are balanced and come together in symmetry and balance. Once you are whole, you have found the treasure of your being, and you will ride off onto the chariot to do your will. Michael is a patron saint of soldiers and warriors. Slay your dragons and do what is right. I think that pretty much says it all. But that does remind me that you have 2 6s here. So yes, really strong message here of integration, of balancing of opposites. 2 6s. So these are all reflecting the lovers. So there's this integration of male and female that needs to happen. This is part of the healing that needs to take place, and potential coming together of 2 people. But I'm feeling this is very much about balancing one's the darkness within oneself and integrating that and accepting it as part of yourself. And that's really the message that is coming through here. Just to pull some extra clarifiers. Yeah, so I'm seeing the High Priestess, which is Medicine Woman, in this deck, and the 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups, yeah, there's confusion basically about what this means, and that's still where you are at this point. You haven't quite reached this breakthrough yet. So this is really pointing towards, again, that integration of the feminine, the intuition, the vulnerability, that softer side of yourself that you have not allowed to be a part of your expression. And when you do, I feel that there's this sense that this confusion leaves you, and perhaps the sense that you need to make a decision and you're unsure which way to move and you're sort of blocked. Well, that's kind of all connected, and that's when you'll reach this clarity on anything that is feeling confusing for you right now. So there's a lot of messages here about this balance, this union of 2 energies. So here you see the union happens when these 2 whole people come together as 2 wholes rather than 2 halves, and building the foundation and allowing these branches to grow and support each other on their 2 separate paths. It's a beautiful card. And it's clarified by the Father of Water and the 2 of Pentacles. This is without question a twin flame reading. You've got all the twin flame cards here, the eternity symbol, Father of Water, King of Cups, mastering yourself with your with regards to your emotions, mastering yourself in love and relationships, becoming a whole person, coming together with another as 2 whole people. Beautiful message. And I've just realized that I haven't pulled the energy to give. That's the energy to receive. Of course, Wheel of Fortune, completion. So there's this completion of a huge karmic cycle that you're ready to break through. And in fact, that culminates in the overall lesson, which is the full new beginning, completion of a cycle, an ending, in order to move forward into this new beginning, this new energy that wants to come in, this new whole self, new integrated, whole, balanced self. Once this cycle is completed, 10 completion, a new beginning, followed by the Fool. You couldn't really get more beautiful than that. And to pull clarifies on those 2 cards, 4 of Wands, again, same card. Yeah, marriage, integration, building a new foundation, Hermit, interesting. And yeah, definitely. So I'm really getting here that the completion that needs to take place, there's this healing going within, there's the sense of loss, there's a relationship, perhaps not just from this childhood wound, but more recently, that is still being carried, this wound from this loss of this very intense, powerful, important love relationship in your life, that you're still holding on to, some sort of grief that you're holding on to. So the Hermit with the Hangman really is pointing towards needing to go within, that it's time now to complete this cycle of learning and to move forward. And the insight you're going to have, this breakthrough when you go within and face through this shadow work to heal this wound that is rooted in the mother wound. There is a breakthrough, there is this insight, and there is this completion that leads to this new beginning. And for a fire, it's about building a new foundation with a fresh energy, a fresh relationship, allowing this balanced union to come into your life. It's the 1111 card. You've literally got, you've got them all. It's, you know, pointing towards marriage. So this could be a marriage of opposing energies or in real life. But yeah, you've pretty much got them all. And I think that's a really beautiful, powerful message there coming through. And to close the reading, we're going to pull a card from the Osho deck. And that will leave you with some guidance to close this off. And I shall go for this one. Slowing down, which I will read for you. And in this Osho deck, it's the equivalent of the Knight of Discs. That's very beautiful, interesting. Slowing down. Meditation is a kind of medicine. Its use is only for the time being. Once you have learned the quality, then you need not do anything particular. Then the meditation has spread all over your life. Walking and sitting are both Zen. But then what will be the quality? Watchfully alert, joyously unmotivated, centered, loving, flowing, one walks. And the walking is sauntering, loving, alert, watchful, one sits, unmotivated. Not sitting for anything in particular, just enjoying how beautiful and just sitting doing nothing is. How relaxing, how restful. After a long walk, you sit under a tree and the breeze comes and cools you. Each moment one has to be at ease with oneself, not trying to improve or cultivate anything, not practicing anything. The essence is ease. That is the key word. The essence is at ease. Do whatever you're doing, but at the deepest core remain at ease, cool, calm, and centered. The Knight of Rainbows is a reminder that just like this tortoise, we carry our home with us wherever we go. There is no need to hurry or seek shelter. Even as we move into the depths of the emotional waters, we can remain self-contained and free from attachments. It's a time when you're ready to let go of any expectations you've had about yourself or other people and take responsibility for any illusions you might have been carrying. There's no need to do anything but rest in the fullness of who you are right now. If desires, hopes, and dreams are fading away, so much the better. Their disappearance is making space for a new quality of stillness and acceptance of what is, and you're able to welcome this development in a way that you've never been able to before. Savor this quality of slowing down, of coming to rest, and recognizing that you're already home. Beautiful message. So I think that that's really reiterating this new beginning. There's this new energy, this new start that wants to come in, that there is something in your psyche, some sort of wound, something that is ready to be released, to let go. And there's a real centering and completion that takes place when this healing is completed. This full realization and integration of all aspects of oneself. Really powerful, Virgo, masculine. And please do contact me if you want to go deeper, or obviously this is a general reading and we can make it more personal to your situation. And until the next time, I wish you many blessings, much love.